Hello and welcome back. I've been doing a fair amount of tidying up on the railway, putting wagons and locomotives away, trying to create a bit more space. So we'll just bring this back round to the 00 station. You can see things are off the rails there. I'm just going to put the carousel set away in a moment, but I've got a couple of interesting items out. Let's just bring that to a stop smoothly in the station there. Definitely quieter without that running. So, let's just pop those controls there for a second. So, I've got to the point of getting the carousel set. Just put that away, so we've got to get all the cars off there and put it back in the box. Let's just grab those while we're at it, rather than talking about it. I won't drag you through putting those away because that'll be rather dull. Putting those back in the box, but we've just got to extract all those from the car transporter and pop them all back in there. And we'll hide that one away. So I've dug out these plate wagons. Been going to give these a go for a little bit of a while. Looking for the words there. That's R19. I think these could be also R.19, possibly only available 72, 73, and maybe available in the Hornby Railways type box as well. So I think they're quite a nice thing. I'm fairly convinced the base of these wagons is the same as on these large hopper wagons. Let's see if we can just extract one of those off here. The number of which on these, is it 214? I'll have to look it up again now. I think we're the same base, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. So I've got a second one here. Box not quite as nice. This one's got a price ticket on it though. It's always nice to get a price ticket. That says 55 pence. So again, sticky label put on the end there. Box is all very yellowed. Let's have a look on the back. So read that. Trying Hornby. These have got to be quite late Trying Hornby boxes. Plastic inserts. And we've seen this sort of thing before. I think the back of that box is the same. Yeah, so probably 72, 73 on those. And this locomotive, somebody asked me quite some time ago if I could run this. So we've got this little Diesel 040 locomotive. So I think there's the clockwork there into that. And I'm fairly confident I've got one of those in bright blue. So this came along 63. I think these were available up until the late 60s, possibly 67, 68. Now I do have a boxed variant. Get the words out here. So I have had a look at it. I think this has got to be going back to Super 4 time when I last had this out on the railway. Now I haven't gone and looked at the old video, but something peculiar has happened to it. So, and only part of it. So we'll just whip that out of there. So maybe it was like this when I had it running ages ago. Got to be 4 or 5 years ago. We're going to grab some focus on there. Maybe not. Let's get that over here. You can see that sort of white fur that has developed on the plastic on the top. And I haven't sort of attacked it with anything yet. But the black steps and so on, those details of the locomotive haven't been affected at all. So I was wondering what might have made that happen. I'm completely stuck with that one. But I think it'll probably clean off. I'm thinking a little bit of light soapy water maybe. We'll have a look. But that hasn't been serviced. That hasn't been run since when Super 4 Railway, 4 years now? Can't remember. 5 years even, possibly. So we'll get that on the rails and have a look at it. But I'm thinking we'll get it on the bench and dismantle the thing. So actually, let's just have a look at the. I'm sure there's a clockwork one of those, or the same body as that. Just in this catalogue here. This is the 63 catalogue. I thought it. Yeah, there we go. I think that would be the very same item, the very same piece of bodywork. Minus buffers there. Doesn't look to have a rear coupling on that one either. I don't know whether I can shake out the instructions here as well. Very curly. Whoops. What have we got here? R.559, 12th of the 2nd, 1964. So always nice to have a bit of paperwork, servicing scheme booklet there as well. Let's just grab the box. I think there's an interesting price on this box as well, unless I'm imagining it, unless it's just the wagons. So there we go. R.559 040 diesel locomotive in green livery. Let's grab it. There we go. Packing ring floating around inside there. We've got focus there. So I don't think I can get much closer than that without it dropping focus. So you may be able to read that. There's a price there. And they've got a nice thick sort of browned sellotape there. So I wonder whether we can just ease that little bit of paper off the bottom there. So do not connect direct to the mains. Ensure model is properly oiled before using. Read instructions carefully. So if I can remove that with the one hand without tearing it, we'll just pop that on the rails. There we go. So I think we should be good on this line. I've left everything sort of safe. Emergency vehicle, so I don't need those controls because that's for the 00. So let's give that a little bit of power. Yeah, it seems to work. But I don't want to put that under too much sort of load and running. Whoops, dropped the camera. It's amazing. There is no magnesium in this, but the magnet in the motor there is just enough to stick to the track. It's quite pronounced. Yeah. So I think that'll benefit from a little bit of a light clean. So we'll get this on the bench after I've got the rest of this lot all sort of tidied up. We'll make it a bit easier to run on the railway. I've removed the vac form tray from the box. We'll just have a swift look over the wagon. So it does make it look rather impressive sitting behind that window in that yellow tray. But this plastic is getting on a bit now, and it can be quite brittle. Let's just have a swift look on the back so you can see where it's formed. It can get very, very thin on the corners. So some of these trays survive better than others. You can see the back of the imprint of the lettering and the numbering there, the different models which could have been contained within it there. So have a look there. You've got a handful of model numbers. R.214 being the one for the large hopper wagon which we saw just a moment ago. I've got one here to have a look at it along with the wagon there. So we'll just ease it out of the tray. I'm going to pop the bright yellow tray to one side for safekeeping. And then we've got Cleveland Bridge and Engineering Company Limited and Darlington. So that's very, very bright. I'm hoping it's keeping some detail on that one. When I'm looking in the camera, that chromed metal there is just burning out straight away in the back of the camera. So a huge contrast range. So the axles are not too bad. They possibly need a bit of a clean before we let them deteriorate too far. So I think the underframe, the chassis is the same as the earlier, not the earlier, I suppose it was earlier, the hopper wagon, but we'll just grab them both and have a look. Let's see if we can encourage that to keep some focus down there. There we go. I think we've got it made in England. And again, incredibly shiny. It's just catching the light. We've got sort of really, really nice detailing all the way along moulded and printed. All the way along the edge of there. I don't know whether that's a slight bow in either the top or the base there. The two just peeling apart a little bit along there, but it continues all the way around. So fairly nice things. So I think this sheet of metal is a very nice, simple, effective way of making a load. It does seem to have some backing paper on it. I don't know whether that's for protection of the material before it was bent and employed as a load, or whether that's something Triumph Hornby have put on for one reason or another, but it's just sort of an interference fit. Let's see if we can just, there we go, it just pops in there. Again, very, very simple. And we've got that sort of planking detail all the way along the load area. It's quite smart. So let's just grab the R14. So I think if we have a look there, so I'm looking down at the wagons rather than what's happening in the camera. I think we've got the chassis. Underframe chassis is the same deal. I think we've got slightly different detailing down difference, the two opposite sides. So we'll have a look down the other side. I know there we got that detail in there. There's sort of interesting changes of the way things are placed on the sides. So let's grab some focus on there. We had a little bit of a look at it over there, and I've looked at the old video. It's February 2018, and it was exactly like that on there. And I think given that, and it hasn't deteriorated any since, I'm not really encouraged to sort of start trying to paint it or do anything aggressive to it. And I'm thinking I'm probably not going to put soapy water on it at this stage. We'll probably leave it as it is. So I think I can live with it like that. So we've got the see-through wheels with the steel tyres on here. So fairly nice printing on the sides. Great big windows, isn't there? And in there. Let's go around to the back, and we can see where the chassis pokes in there. So another very versatile chassis for trying this. I managed to get quite a bit of use out of it. So you can hear the chassis just slipping a little bit within the model there. Lovely flat across the top of the bonnet there. I'm thinking I might sneeze any second, so if I cut away from this, it's because I've had a uncontrollable sneezing fit. So I do apologise in advance. So I think if we grab the screwdriver, and I'm going to take the couplings off this because I think both of them to a certain degree influence how it's held into the chassis and body are held together. So we'll just grab a screwdriver here, and we'll just unhook that one. So I think this one's screwed into the chassis. Let's take that one off there. There's the magnetic effect there. Just grabbing at that screw didn't want to come away, or it could be the oil effect. I think it was the magnetic. So that's going to allow that to pivot out of there through those little pins there. So hopefully that doesn't pinch the chassis, the bodywork at that end. And this one, I think the plate on the back of the coupling there just prevents the chassis from dropping out. So we'll undo that one carefully, and we'll have a look. So that's into plastic. There we go. I think we're out of there. I think we've kept focus through there. So we'll pop that down, and we can see, we've got Triang's name there, and then the built in Britain, I think, just hiding down there. But let's see if we can just ease that out of there now. So again, can be quite tight. There we go. So let's just firstly have a look inside there before the hands get any oilier through handling the metalwork. We're going to grab focus back down there again. So again, as ever, I've got the writing the wrong way up. We'll go the other way up with that and see. So there we go. We've got Triang and built in Britain. A great big lump there where it's come off the mould, perhaps. But fairly tidy condition. I don't think there's any breaks in the bodywork of this one. So I'm thinking the blue one I've got maybe has a break in it, but we'll pop that down, and then we'll just have a quick look over this. Now I think this is going to benefit from a little bit of a clean. So we won't sort of go into dismantling it fully, but what I'm going to do is give the wheels a clean, give the axles a spray with switch cleaner, I think, because it's been sitting in a box for such a long time. Any oil that was on it is going to be rather congealed, so everything sort of moves quite freely. But the pad, the oil pad there, looks incredibly dry, and I imagine the one at the back there also going to be very, very dry. But apart from that, I think that's in really quite nice condition.
we'll just follow that around the railway a couple of times handheld. I thought that bit of footage was quite a bit of fun. It's quite a nice sort of running thing once it's been cleaned up. It didn't take much. They are very, very shiny, those loads on there, though, aren't they? But I think I said earlier, they're quite an ingenious bit of thinking to make a very simple load. Looking quite interesting. Let's see if we can get in just a little bit tighter on that. It seems to be negotiating the points. So I think what we'll do, we'll grab some control over this. We'll let that go off into the distance there. Just grab that off the Velcro. And we'll see if we can get that onto the outer line. So let's bring it to a stop there, and we'll push it through the points. So we've stopped in a good place there, so we're not going to foul the points. Sorry, I'm looking over my shoulder here, so we'll make that one curved. And then we're going to go for the one just hiding over here. Actually, that's already curved. So we'll leave that one there, that's all good. So we'll grab the controls again. So we'll see how it does pushing that through the point work there. So just see if we can drop down low and see if that looks good underneath that elevated track there. Is that going to come onto the inside of the station there? Let's just stop that there, and I'm just going to close the points and alter the feed to the railway. Let's just do the points first, and then we'll have a quick look why. Hang on, let's look down here. So we'll go straight with that one, and then if I get my hand on the correct switch there, we want to go straight with that one, and then we'll turn this into two railways again. So when the switch is set like that, it's just one of the sides of the one of the controllers. So in this instance, that side is controlling the entire railway, both circuits. So I can split it into two circuits. And I'll turn the other controller on. So electrically, the two lines are now separated. So we'll leave that there. We'll check the points on the other end of the station look pretty good. But I thought we'd just to finish off with, we'll just have a quick look at this set. So that's a stunning picture, isn't it? I'm sure I've shown this in the past. So relatively interesting box. So on the side there it says RS43, and if you think back to that earlier picture of the clockwork engine we saw in the catalogue, I'll put an insert picture there in the corner of the screen. That was the clockwork locomotive. This is a Triang Railways box, so this has got to be sort of mid-1960s, early to mid-1960s. But on this end of the box, we have RS71. So we've got two numbers on the box, and we've got some scribbling with various prices there, possibly where the set has been marked down over time. So the set wasn't perfect when it came to me, because it had parts of the cardboard inners missing. So I think RS71 is probably the correct number for the electric version of the set. So it's got a circular Super 4 here, but I've remade these sort of little cardboard bits there, so there was no bits to hold the track in place. And it doesn't look like it's ever had a key inserted in there. So if we just have a quick look at these models. So we'll grab that out. So this one has the tiniest bit of damage on it. One of the steps has a crack in it. So I don't think it's on that side, but in all intents and purposes, it's the same as the other one. You can hear the chassis just moving around inside the bodywork there. So you can see there's a slight crack just there. But it makes a slightly different sound to the other model. Let's pop that on the rails there. So ideally now, if I grab the other controls, sorry, the same controls, these controls, I've lost track of what I'm doing already. So I was correct. I need the other controls. So the handheld, to show my confusion, handheld was set in for the outside line. This controls the inside line. So let's come back to the locomotive and we'll give that a little bit of power. Has a bit more of a growl about it, the motor on this one. Oops. So I've just noticed that my gimbal is not really behaving very well. We'll keep an eye on that. It doesn't seem to be following exactly where I'm pointing the camera. So let's grab the wagons here. So we have a look down here. We've got unprinted or non-printed wagons. There we go. We've got silica gel there to keep everything from gaining moisture. All that cardboard just attracts moisture when you're storing these things. So we've got that lovely open wagon there. So I'll dig out the numbers that go with these appropriate models and put them in the bottom of the screen, because I'm sure they probably have R numbers of their own. And it's interesting as well that this locomotive doesn't have the hooks, and I don't know whether that's by design or whether somebody's messed around with the couplings, but they don't ever seem to have had them, if you look at that. So we'll leave well alone. We'll not put any on it, but they are. Maybe it's just it has no buffers either. I forgot to point that out. So maybe it's just a really stripped down version. So there's a non-printed, what I would think would be an R16 brake van, but they're not too bad a condition. I don't think we've got any chips out. Ah, yeah, we do have a chip out of the corner of the roof there. So I don't expect these things would have, if they were genuinely being played with for a long time by children on the living room carpet, would have had to spent very long without gaining some sort of damage running at high speed around small circles of track. But yeah, that's quite a lovely picture, isn't it? So we'll pop that down, and then just to finish, we'll get both of these items running. So let's get that underway. I'm looking at the wrong train, so let's get that one underway. Now I think I've got everything set correctly there, but I'm just going to change these so we don't go inside the station each time, so that'll make a simpler run for it, less risk of derailment. So let's just give a follow round on there. All good so far. Very rattly. I think it's those wagons, a slight rattle to them as they rock on the rails. So now let's get the blue locomotive underway. So just to finish off with, let's see if we can get a bit of double running. Yeah, could do with a little bit of more of a run, so it's just come out of the box. So I did give it a little bit of a clean on the wheels, but it's still tiniest bit hesitant. And here we've got both trains in view now. I'm just going to let the blue Diesel Shunter warm up a little. I think it'll be a little bit more cooperative if it warms up. Yeah, so I suppose you would have had to acquire a battery controller to get much out of this one if it was given to you for Christmas or a birthday, perhaps. So let's grab the other controls and let's see if I can get this other train to match up with it a little bit more. So we'll go for a little bit more power on the green shunter. And I think perhaps we'll just wait there for it. I can hear it coming in from left of shot. There we go. Ooh, not quick enough. Yeah, we're getting both coming down there. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to catch those together. Now the blue one's warmed up a little bit, let's take the edge off the blue one. I'm looking over my shoulders again, so let's take the edge off the green one now. There we go, that's better. So I think that's probably it for this time. I know we're probably getting quite close to Christmas at this point. Many of us will have ideas of things we would love to receive for Christmas, or would have loved to receive as children as Christmas in the past, but it's always an exciting time of the year. But if you look back again next time, we'll see if we can have a look at something else interesting from the catalogue. Goodbye now.